Second bout on the main card, Brad Pickett had his retirement fight with Marlon Chito Vera. This was going to be a really big fight for him because obviously this was the final fight that he was going to have. He was training out with American Top Team down in Florida, so he was moving out to England full time afterwards. His big farewell fight, he actually got Reebok to push, or normally Reebok wants you to just wear the fight kit and the fight kit only. They were able to get it where he could come out with the suspenders that he used to come out with before Reebok. He came out with the hat that he used to come out with before Reebok, and he also had the newspaper, which is kind of like a cool classic look for him. And coming in, it was exciting. It was cool to see if he'd be able to get a win over a guy in Marlon Vera, who's very talented, who's very good, but he's not exactly a world beater at really any. I believe he fights at 145, but even if he were to make 35, it's not like he'd be a world beater. So it was a winnable matchup for him. Starting out early, looked really good for him. The first couple of rounds, on two of the three judges' scorecards, he had Brad Pickett had won two of the first three rounds. One of the judges had given Vera a round, so it was 2018, 2018, 1919. And it looked like as long as Pickett could just kind of stay alive, keep going, he'd be able to get the win. But the leg kicks were catching up to him from the earlier rounds. He wasn't able to get his takedowns, wasn't able to control the fight, and with a little over a minute left in the third, he got floored with a head kick. His hands were down by his side when he went down. He wasn't really protecting himself. He took a couple more shots. It looked as though he was out at the time. I know, obviously, with it being his retirement fight, you want to see him get every last chance he can to fight back, but it looked like that fight was over and the right call was made. So I have no issue with that fight being over. Afterwards, he left his hat in the middle of the octagon, had an emotional interview. Even Marlon Vera was a pretty big fan of him, so he was saying a lot of kind words about Brad Pickett, and you know, it kind of sucks. Obviously, Pickett, he's 38 years old right now. He's not at a point where he's going to make a run at a title at any weight class, whether that be 25 or 35. So at this point, if you're not going to make a run for the title, what are you really sticking around for? What are you there to do? So good call on his part to hang up the gloves. It sounds as though he's got a gym that he's going to be opening out in England, so he's got a backup plan. Hopefully that ends up doing well for him, and hopefully he can build into a pretty big gym, and maybe we'll see him back in the Octagon sometime soon with one of the fighters that he's trained up to get all the way to the UFC, and that'd be exciting. Pretty sad moment though. I mean, it's not like I can't say that I'm like the biggest Brad Pickett fan. Obviously, you know who he is when he's on the card. You're like, okay, that's going to be a fun fight. He's a fun guy to watch, but to see him go out the way he went out, for him to be winning, to lose by knockout, you know, you got his opponent who's showing all the respect. He's choked up, so then you become choked up. It was really hard to see. It sucked to see it that way, but I expect Pickett to have a pretty good career as a coach. I think he's evolving from just kind of like a pure boxer to where he got his wrestling in. His top game in jiu-jitsu is pretty good. His guard passes are okay. He never really was like the most technical guy at any point in the game. Like on the feet, he was relatively boxing centric. Didn't throw a ton of kicks. Like to look for a couple big shots as opposed to throwing a bunch of huge combinations and setting his stuff up. On the ground, it's not like he was taking guys down. Well, he was taking guys down, but it's not like he was passing the guard and getting quick submissions. But overall, really, really crafty guy, knows the game well, and I think there's a lot that he can teach a lot of younger fighters. So hopefully we see him in the Octagon again soon, and hopefully it's in the corner of someone who's up and coming out of England.